I requested a divorce while my wife was completely engrossed in studying a chess game. She didn't even glance up, just coolly asked 2 words. The reason? I thought for a second. I saw you with Ethan earlier today. She immediately slammed the chess book shut and stood up. Her expression was stern. He came to pick up some books. I know you don't like seeing him, so I didn't even let him inside the house. If you suspect I'm having an affair, please provide evidence. If you continue behaving this way, I'm going to start doubting the validity of this marriage. She hadn't realized anything was wrong at all. Even when I brought up the idea of divorce, she couldn't be bothered to put down her chess book. But the minute I mentioned her beloved male student, the woman who was usually so reserved and distant suddenly became aggressive and defensive. That kind of reaction was the answer in itself. At the police station, I sat in a daze watching Anya rush in. I never expected that the family member Ethan would call to bail him out would be my wife. Her perfectly tailored trench coat emphasized her slim figure. Even in her haste, she maintained that air of cold, elegant detachment. Anya looked up, saw me, and froze. She frowned slightly. "Coach Anya, my hand?" From the other side of the room, Ethan groaned, grabbing onto Anya's arm. "What happened? How's your hand?" Anya looked at Ethan's gauze-wrapped left hand and didn't push him away. Ethan furrowed his brow, holding his hand out to her. "I think my pinky is fractured. It hurts so bad." My hair was a mess. The red bruises on my face were throbbing, and my chest was covered in coffee stains. The contrast with the graceful, spotless Anya was brutal. It was a scene no one would believe. 2 people who were so completely different were actually husband and wife. Anya and I had been in love for 7 years and married for 3. She had always been completely focused on the world of chess, impatient with the ordinary interruptions of daily life. 2 weeks ago, we had a fight. She simply packed a bag and moved into the team dorms. Last week, I needed help getting my dad an appointment with a top specialist for slots that were impossible to get. I swallowed my pride, ignored the silent treatment between us, and begged her to use her connections. She replied coldly, "Preparing for a tournament. No time. Doesn't the hospital open its doors for you too?" Having known her for years, I thought I was used to Anya's emotional distance. I had comforted myself countless times, thinking she was just born with a lack of emotion, unable to understand other people's pain or show care and tenderness. But now, seeing Ethan leaning against her, looking upset and pouring his heart out, Anya, usually so icy, looked incredibly gentle, bowing her head to whisper comforting words to him. My eyes stung. I instinctively pressed a hand against my chest, which was starting to feel tight. Anya looked over Ethan's head and saw me. Meeting her gaze, I automatically turned my bruised face away to hide the injury. Anya was silent for a moment, then turned to the officer. "I'm here to bail out Ethan. What's the situation?" The 2 gentlemen got into an argument at a breakfast shop, which escalated into physical fighting. Both parties claimed the other started it, but before the officer could finish, Ethan shrieked, "Mark hit me first! There was a fly in the coffee his shop sold me. He wouldn't admit it, and then he shoved me." How could someone twist the truth like that? My voice trembled with anger. "You're lying! You set me up! You came right up to me and started swinging!" That morning, Ethan had bought a coffee. I brewed it fresh and sealed the lid myself. But moments later, he ran back, claiming there was a fly in it, and without saying a word, splashed the hot coffee all over me. I grabbed his collar out of anger, but he slapped me first. In the struggle, he hit the wall and hurt his finger. After hearing my side, Anya stopped Ethan from arguing further and asked calmly, Is there security footage? I felt defeated. We just reopened last week. I haven't had time to install cameras, and there are no street cameras nearby. Then it's a he said situation, Anya mused. She turned to the officer. Can we settle this through mediation? I refused. If I didn't clear my name today, who would dare buy coffee from my shop again? Hearing there were no cameras, a gleam of victory flashed in Ethan's eyes. He insisted I attacked him and refused mediation. The officer closed his notebook, looking resigned. If you refuse mediation for mutual combat, we have to book both of you. That means 5 to 10 days in holding. Ethan nervously stamped his foot. Coach Anya pulled out a business card and handed it to the officer. I am the president of the Chess Association. Ethan is my team member. He has a major tournament tomorrow. He cannot be detained. I can vouch for him as his superior. He has excellent character and would absolutely not strike someone first. There must be a misunderstanding. The officer looked at the card, then handed it back. I'm sorry, ma'am. Everyone is equal before the law. Detention depends on evidence and the case itself, not a boss's guarantee. Anya's expression shifted slightly. She clearly hadn't expected to be rejected so bluntly. She fell silent for a few seconds, her gaze sweeping over me. What if I testify for him? I didn't react right away. Anya looked away and said in a low voice, I was waiting for Ethan by the roadside this morning. There really was a fly in the coffee he brought over. When I followed him back to the shop, I saw him being pushed to the ground. My mind went blank, as if I'd been hit by a heavy object. Anya, you are lying through your teeth! My body started to shake uncontrollably, and tears spilled out. You weren't even there this morning. Why are you helping him frame me? Anya avoided my eyes, her tone remaining perfectly steady. I am stating the facts. The officer hesitated. Ma'am, are you sure? Anya nodded without any hesitation. I take full responsibility for my words and actions. After giving her statement, the officer gestured that she could take Ethan. Ethan tugged at Anya's sleeve, but she didn't move. She just looked at me. I turned my head, refusing to look at her. An officer came to take me to processing. I wiped the tears from my face and begged, Can I make a phone call? My dad is sick in the hospital. Anya cut in. Don't worry about Dad. I'll arrange a nurse. The two officers stared, dumbfounded, their eyes darting between Anya and me. You two are married? A rare trace of embarrassment appeared on Anya's face. I said coldly, Getting divorced soon. We're separated. As I was led away, I didn't look back. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Anya standing still in the same spot. 5 days later, released from holding, I rushed straight to the hospital. Outside the ward, I stopped to fix my hair and clothes, took a deep breath, and pushed the door open. My dad was chatting with a nurse, looking rosy and relaxed. I let out a breath of relief. He turned and saw me, smiling. Did you get over your flu? I was confused, but didn't dare correct him, just mumbling a vague, Yeah. Anya said you were afraid of infecting me. You're too cautious. I'm not that weak. Anya came by. Yeah, she brought in a specialist for a consultation. The doctor said my condition is stable, and conservative treatment is fine. It won't affect my daily life. My dad studied me closely. Why do you look so terrible? Are you still feeling sick? He hesitated, then said, Maybe you should just close the shop. I think Anya wants that too. It doesn't make much money, and it's hurting your marriage. I fought back tears, and softly agreed with a hum. 2 weeks ago, Anya and I had fought about reopening the breakfast spot. Anya couldn't understand why Dad and I wouldn't give up the shop. It was exhausting work, and the family didn't need the money. Our shop had been open for over 20 years. After Mom passed away a few years ago, Dad took a break, but eventually reopened. He said that for all those years, the moment he opened his eyes, he and Mom were busy in that shop. Sitting idle at home made his heart feel empty. Besides, if we closed, where would the regulars get a decent breakfast? 6 months ago, neighborhood construction forced the shop to close temporarily. I watched my dad grow more depressed by the day. So, I found a new storefront and hung up the sign again. I didn't consult Anya about reopening. She was furious when she found out. We gave each other the silent treatment for days. That day, I had planned to calmly explain my reasoning to her, but as soon as I entered our apartment complex, I saw Anya and Ethan standing under the shade of a tree by the road. Ethan was holding a stack of books, looking up and saying something to her. I was too far away to hear. But I saw a faint smile on Anya's face as she naturally reached out and picked a falling leaf off Ethan's shoulder. Maybe it was exhaustion, or maybe the evening sun was too bright. I stumbled, nearly losing my balance. Anya was not the kind of person who noticed small details like that. When we were dating, if I wasn't feeling well or was in a bad mood, she never noticed. Sometimes I'd complain, and she would explain with a serious face, "I can't focus my attention on you all the time. If something is wrong, just tell me directly." I had comforted myself countless times that we grew up together, that I knew she was naturally cold and didn't mean any harm. But now, why could she notice something as small as a leaf? Simply because that person was Ethan. Ethan was Anya's star pupil, a genius recruited from another school. Anya, a woman of few words, was never shy with her praise when it came to Ethan. I once complained to her that he disrespected me, but Anya said I shouldn't be so hard on a genius. She said, "It's a trivial matter. Isn't a name just something for people to call you?" Turns out, my lack of respect was just a trivial matter, less important than a leaf landing on Ethan's shoulder. I sat on a park bench for a long time, thinking until the night grew late. Then I went home. Anya was sitting by the floor-to-ceiling window, reading a book next to her chessboard. Hearing the door, she didn't even look up, acting as if I were air. I pushed down the bitterness in my heart and said softly, "Anya, let's get a divorce." "The reason?" She didn't even blink. My mind was a jumble of thoughts, but I decided to start with the leaf. "I saw you with Ethan this evening." That was when she slammed the book down and stood up. "He came to get books. I didn't let him in. Are you still going to make a fuss?" She frowned. "If you suspect an affair, bring evidence. If you keep this up, I'm going to question the correctness of this marriage." Anya didn't realize it. Even divorce didn't make her put down the chess book. But mentioning Ethan got that aggressive reaction. That was the answer. Digging my nails into my palm, I smiled bitterly. "No need to question it. It is incorrect, so it should end. Anya, I'm serious. This isn't a tantrum. Let's divorce." For a split second, a crack appeared in her icy mask, revealing shock and confusion. After a long silence, I turned to go to my room. Anya suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly. "You just don't want me to bring up you reopening the shop without asking, so you're picking a fight to change the subject." She thought she'd found the logical answer. Ignoring my reaction, she started lecturing me. "Running a breakfast diner is hard work. I really don't understand, Mark. Why can't you ever weigh the pros and cons? I've already analyzed the correct choice for you." My chest felt tight. Once again, I realized that a guy who fries donuts and a woman who plays grandmaster chess really couldn't communicate. I took a few deep breaths and laughed self-deprecatingly. "Right. I'm just dumb. I can't weigh the pros and cons. You're smart. You're the genius. You know everything except why I need to run that shop. So please get the divorce done quickly and go find someone as smart as you. Okay, Professor Anya?" I shook off her hand and started packing. Anya didn't say another word. Only when I walked out with my suitcase did she speak. "You stay. I'll stay at the school dorms." She moved out that night. The next time we met was at the police station. I stayed at the hospital until dark, finally going home only because Dad urged me to. Dragging my exhausted body through the front door, I was shocked to see Anya busy in the kitchen. She had taken off her wire-rimmed glasses, and her usually severe hair was hanging loosely over her forehead. In a soft white sweater and a warm-colored apron, she looked nothing like the cold-faced national champion the world knew. She looked more like the quiet, peaceful girl from my memories. Seeing me standing blankly in the doorway, Anya untied her apron. "You're back? Let's eat." She placed a plate on the table, a golden omelet with a smiley face drawn in ketchup on top. Anya handed me a spoon. Her casual manner made me laugh in disbelief. An omelet with a smiley face held special meaning for us. When we were dating, I used to complain, usually the girlfriend coaxes the boyfriend when they fight. But with us, I'm always the one coaxing you. She had explained seriously, "I don't understand. I don't know how to make you stop being angry." So I taught her to make this omelet and draw a smiley face. Let the smiley face apologize for you. If I eat the smiley face, I'm not mad anymore. I had eaten Anya's smiley face omelets many times, and I had forgiven her many times. But right now, that plate looked like a silent insult. A surge of unnamed anger shot up in my chest. I flipped the plate over. The crash echoed as the mess sprawled across the floor. My voice trembled. "Anya, exactly how pathetic do you think I am? You helped Ethan frame me, and now you want to pretend nothing happened." Anya bent down to pick up the shards, her emotion still calm. "The first question is invalid. I never thought you were pathetic. Second, I didn't help Ethan. Neither of you would settle. To ensure the tournament wasn't affected, I had no other choice." A shard sliced her finger. Blood welled up instantly. She looked at the cut blankly, stood up, and looked at me. Out of habit, I almost laughed. She expect me to dress her wound after all this? Anya waited a moment, then grabbed a tissue to wrap the cut. She looked up, her eyes full of confusion. "Mark, I've been thinking about it for days, but I can't figure it out. Why did you bring up divorce that night? You said you saw Ethan and me. I just gave him some books. What is the problem?" I couldn't take it anymore. I asked her directly, "Do you really not know how Ethan feels about you?" Anya froze. "I didn't know before." I caught the key word. "Before?" Anya nodded. "When we left the station, I asked him why he caused trouble at your shop. He didn't explain. Instead, he asked me if you weren't in the picture, would I choose?" She stopped abruptly. I smiled bitterly. "So how did you answer?" Panic flashed in Anya's eyes. Her voice was strained. I said yes. The string that had been pulled taut in my heart finally snapped. In that moment, I actually hated her honesty. Anya grabbed my hand, her tone urgent. "It was a crucial international tournament. I just didn't want his mental state to affect the team. I snapped! Anya, stop lying to yourself. You fell for him a long time ago." Anya's face flushed red. She argued stubbornly. "I didn't? Don't say things without a basis." My phone buzzed with a message. I shook off her hand and unlocked the screen. It was a video from Ethan. The moment I played it, my pupils widened. I almost forgot to breathe. I took a deep breath and handed the phone to Anya. Here's your basis. The video was short, a close-up of Ethan kissing Anya. In a chaotic crowd, Anya stood there motionless, letting the young boy shyly kiss the corner of her mouth. Anya swiped frantically at the screen, as if trying to erase the image. Her usually calm voice finally sounded panicked. "Mark, it's not what it looks like. That's not the whole video. Listen to me, we won the match. Ethan was too excited, he just kissed me. I didn't have time to dodge, it wasn't just me. He kissed the whole team afterward. If you don't believe me, I can get the security footage." I pulled the corners of my mouth into a smile, but my throat tasted bitter. Isn't that even more beautiful? Just like in Roman Holiday. To shake the hand of her beloved, the princess walks down from the throne and shakes everyone's hand. Your love is so noble. That's why I want a divorce, to help you two be together. Anya opened her mouth, but couldn't find a single word of defense. In the long silence, the doorbell rang. I turned to open it. Ethan stood there, radiant. Seeing me, his lips curled into a sneer. He shoved me aside and squeezed inside. Ethan held up a paper bag to Anya, his voice dripping with calculated sweetness. "Coach, I got someone to buy these liver supplements for you. You always stay up late. You have to take them." Seeing the mess on the floor, he paused, then forced an innocent smile. "Oh my, did you guys fight? Was it because of the video I sent?" "Sorry, Coach, I meant to send it to you, but I slipped and sent it to him. I didn't mean anything by it, I just wanted to share something funny. Did you know, Coach? That kiss is trending. The internet is so clever. They're calling it, 'He kissed 6 people just for you.' Ha ha ha, it's killing me." He was like a solo actor, completely absorbed in his own performance. I grabbed a cup of water from the table and splashed it right in his face. Caught off guard, Ethan stood dripping wet. While he was stunned, I summoned all my strength and slapped him hard across the face. A crisp crack echoed. Ethan stumbled back, clutching his face, only stopping when his lower back hit the shoe rack. He stared at me with pure hatred. "Mark, Coach is cursed to be married to a brute like you." "Ethan!" Anya shouted. Ethan instantly shut up. His almond eyes filled with tears, staring at Anya with a mix of fragility and defiance. Anya frowned deeply, her voice icy. "First, kissing me and the other team members was inappropriate. It is not something worth sharing. Second, you owe my husband a sincere apology. I didn't pursue it before because of the match. Finally, if you have any respect for your teacher, you should call him Sir or Mr. Wilson. You do not get to call him by his first name." This was probably the first time Anya had spoken so harshly to him. Ethan's eyes went wide with shock. His voice cracked. "Coach, he hit me for no reason. Are you siding with family over logic?" This time his tears didn't work. Anya's tone remained even. "By logic or by family, I shouldn't be helping you. Now apologize to my husband." Ethan's chest heaved, tears rolling down his cheeks. "I won't. I'm never talking to you again." Anya watched him cover his face and run out. She didn't chase him. "You leave too," I said expressionlessly. "I don't want to see you." I turned and went into the bathroom. When I came out after a shower, the living room was clean. There was a note from Anya on the table. "I will transfer Ethan to another mentor. I won't have contact with him anymore." I tossed it into the trash. The day Dad was discharged, I arrived at the hospital early. While packing, Dad asked me, "Aren't we waiting for Anya? She said yesterday she'd come pick us up after class." My hands paused. I took a deep breath and tried to sound casual. "Dad, there's something I've been wanting to tell you. If Anya and I divorce, will you be mad?" Dad didn't look surprised at all. He sighed lightly. Are you stupid? Why would I be mad if you divorce? Is the marriage for me? No matter what happens, Dad is always on your side. The grievances and exhaustion of the past few days surged up. My nose stung, and tears fell. Dad gently patted my back. I knew something was wrong. Even with the flu, you wouldn't go days without seeing me or calling. You looked awful that day, so I didn't press. What actually happened? When I told him about the detention, Dad's face went white with rage. He squeezed my hand tightly. That Anya, how could she treat you like that? Divorce! We aren't aiming above our league here. So what if she plays chess? She can't even tell parsley from cilantro. I burst out laughing, gently rubbing his chest to calm him. Dad, don't be mad. It's not worth your health. The shop is still counting on you. I hired a new guy, Zach. Hard-working and smart. He's waiting for you to teach him. Back at our apartment complex, the neighbors gathered around. Hey, old Wilson, you're out. Looking good. Come on, we need a fourth for Mahjong. Dad smiled and responded to everyone, then turned to me. Mark, you go home first. I have serious business. I smiled. This old man was such a faker. Since when was Mahjong serious business? I mailed the divorce papers to Anya's university. It was like dropping a stone in the ocean. Anya didn't react. The grandmaster, so decisive on the chessboard, turned out to have a passive attitude in life. Ethan, however, came to my house. I hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. He was thinner, with dark circles under his eyes. He smelled of alcohol, stumbling as he walked. Coach, why won't you see me? I don't want another mentor. How can you be so cruel? What's so good about Mark? How is he better than me? You too, I can feel it. I slapped away the hand he was flailing around. He squinted, finally realizing it was me. His look turned vicious. Mark, are you clinging to Coach? I'll give you money. I'll give you lots of money. Divorce her. She deserves better. I picked up a glass of cold water and practiced my aim, splashing it right in his face again. Sober yet? If you're sober, listen closely. Your coach isn't here. We're separated. Also, I'm not the one refusing to divorce. I crossed my arms and looked him up and down. Tell me, why won't she divorce me? Is it because you aren't trying hard enough? One morning, I was busy packing bagel orders for customers. The new guy, Zach, nudged me with his elbow. Hey, boss, there's a pretty lady over there staring at you. I looked over. It was Anya. She was wearing a black coat, looking as neat as ever, though her face was slightly gaunt. I asked her, "Did you sign the papers?" Anya was silent for a long time. She didn't say anything. Instead, she rolled up her sleeves and started working, just like when we were kids, clearing tables, wiping them down. Watching this woman pick up used napkins, her practiced movements didn't look like a national chess champion. She looked like the girl from years ago, simply dressed, quiet, efficient. Anya had a rough childhood. After her parents divorced, neither wanted her. They dumped her on her elderly grandmother. Her grandmother was poor and senile, unable to care for her properly. I remember discovering Anya never ate breakfast. I asked her, "Why don't you eat? Aren't you hungry?" Anya kept a straight face and ignored me. I went home and told my parents like a dummy. After they lectured me, I realized not every kid had breakfast. My soft-hearted parents made me bring breakfast to Anya every day. At first, she refused. My mom coaxed her. "Anya, I need a favor. My Mark is a bit silly and gets bullied easily. Could you watch out for him at school for me?" Only then did Anya accept the breakfast, and she started seriously protecting me. Later, every weekend morning, Anya would come to the shop to help. It wasn't until high school, when studies got intense, that my parents insisted she stop working. You could say Anya grew up in my family. Watching her busy silhouette, I suddenly thought of my mom. If she knew how things ended between Anya and me, would she regret taking that child in? Dad came in from outside. Seeing Anya holding a steamer basket, he froze. "Dad?" Anya said softly. Dad kept a straight face. "Professor Anya, we aren't family anymore. Call me Mr. Wilson." Anya's face went pale. Her hands trembled on the basket. Dad took the basket from her. His voice wasn't loud, but it was clear. "Professor Anya, my shop is a small business, but over these decades it hasn't done badly. I saved it all for my son. If he wants to run a shop, he can. If he wants to sit at home and spend money, he has enough. I didn't hand my son over to you so you could bully him. You drank my soy milk for 10 years, yet you could lie and say there were flies in it. I watched you grow up, so I don't want to say ugly things. Just sign the papers. Let's part ways cleanly." Anya's lips quivered. She couldn't say a word. A few regulars eating in the shop chimed in. "All those bagels and coffee should have fed them to a dog instead of raising an ungrateful professor." "Old Wilson, you're too nice. If it were me, I'd complain to her university, helping a student frame her own husband. And you want to part ways nicely?" The harsh words struck Anya like arrows. She stood there in a daze until Zach, annoyed, ushered her out. That night, I worked late. When the hallway sensor light flicked on, I saw Anya. The woman who usually cared so much about her appearance was sitting on the floor against the wall, head down. The light stretched her shadow, making her look incredibly lonely. "Mark, you're back?" Her voice was hoarse. She stood up slowly, swaying a bit from sitting too long. I silently unlocked the door. As I was closing it, Anya suddenly reached out to block it. Her eyes were full of panic and helplessness. "I'm sorry, Mark. It was my fault. Please forgive me." I shook my head and spoke calmly. "We've known each other since we were kids. Before I even knew what a crush was, I just wanted you to be happy. I told you, even if your parents didn't love you, I would always love you. I gave you everything, trying to make you happy. But somewhere along the way, I became the unhappy one. Anya, you're like a bottomless black hole, constantly draining my ability to be happy. I'm tired." Anya's face was as pale as paper. She offered a weak defense. "Mark, you know about my emotional distance. I don't understand a lot of things. I'll try to learn." I let go of the door and pulled some papers from the shoe rack drawer. Anya took them, confused. After scanning them, her expression shifted from confusion to shock. "Moderate depression?" I laughed at myself. After Mom died, Dad was in bad shape. I was worried he'd get depressed, so I consulted a psychiatrist. Turns out I'm the one with depression. We're both sick. Let's treat ourselves separately. No one is obligated to save anyone else. Anya, we walked together for a long time. I thought we'd keep going. But now, this is where we stop. Anya's shoulders shook. She didn't speak. From the moment she saw the diagnosis, she hadn't said a word. When I went to close the door, she suddenly choked out, You said you would never leave me." I curled my lips into a smile. I wanted the Anya who stood in front of me when people bullied me, the Anya who carried me on her back for miles to the hospital when I was sick. But who are you? You're the Anya who helped someone frame me and let me rot in a cell for 5 days. What right do you have to question me? Anya's shoulders collapsed. She bent over, clutching her chest in pain. From under her trembling hair came a voice like a dream. "But you said you'd never leave me." I gently closed the door. Guess I lied. I don't want you anymore, Anya. After that day, Anya didn't bother me again. About a week later, she called. Her voice was much calmer. I redrafted the agreement. I've signed it. Anya had rewritten the asset division, giving most of the assets to me out. I didn't refuse. My family had given her our hearts for so many years. and I was left scarred by this marriage. This was the compensation I deserved. The day the divorce was finalized, I felt incredibly light. Turns out divorce decrees are just paper, but they feel like freedom. A few days later, Dad told me excitedly, "Mark, I finished my serious business." I was confused. What serious business? He played coy. Guess. I told you the day I got out of the hospital. I thought back. Something about a fourth player for Mahjong? Dad smacked me. Your innocence, the shop's reputation. Dad found the evidence. Anyone who bullies my son is going to pay. It turned out, from the first day he got out, Dad had been trying to clear my name. For days, the neighborhood grandpas and grandmas conducted a detailed search for witnesses and clues. Finally, they found a car owner whose dash cam was pointed right at the shop's entrance that morning. The video clearly showed Ethan turning away with the coffee, opening the lid, and putting something inside. It also showed him splashing me and throwing the first punch. When I went to the police station to report it, I ran into Anya. Coincidentally, the officers on duty were the same two from before. One officer was confused. Did you two plan this? Are you reporting a crime or surrendering? Anya was there to turn herself in for perjury. I replied, didn't plan it. She's surrendering. I'm reporting. The cop looked like his brain was frying. Are you guys married or not? We were last time. We're divorced now. With solid evidence, the police opened a case immediately. Ethan was detained and fined for malicious slander. He had to pay damages and issue a public apology. Although it didn't count as a criminal offense, it left a record. It would affect his future schooling and career. Anya was also held accountable for perjury. Because she turned herself in, the punishment was lighter. The university demoted her, but Anya voluntarily resigned. She posted the case results online, confessing to the perjury. She also announced she would never participate in professional chess competitions again. The scandal between Anya and Ethan was shared widely by the internet and went viral. Because of that spontaneous kiss at the international tournament, the two had been internet darlings. The story of "he kissed 6 people just for you" had been praised as a real-life Roman holiday. But as the public apology revealed the truth, the sweeter it had tasted before, the more disgusting it felt now. After all, Anya helped her student frame her own husband. Who would believe they were innocent? Furthermore, someone revealed an anonymous account of Ethan's called Teacher's Little Sweetheart. It detailed all the favoritism and spoiling he received from his mentor. Later, 2 students reported Ethan under their real names. They claimed he used his mentor's favor to bully them into giving him first author credit on their papers. The scandal grew. After a school investigation, Ethan was expelled from the graduate program. I heard he went to a chess club in Japan. There was no news of him after that. Anya went to teach at a university in Hong Kong. Before she left, she came to find me. It was late autumn, and a light rain was falling. Anya held an umbrella and a bouquet of yellow roses. I liked flowers, especially bright yellow roses, but Anya had never given me any. Once on Valentine's Day, I jokingly asked her to buy me flowers. She looked indifferent and impatient. What Valentine's Day? Just marketing tricks. Only ignorant people fall for it. Funny. All those years together, I never got flowers. Now that everything had changed, she brought them to me. Anya handed me the flowers, her eyes showing a complex mix of emotions. I'm leaving, Mark. Take care of yourself. Take care of Mr. Wilson. I will. You too, I said calmly. Anya hesitated. Did you go to therapy? I smiled. I'm cured. The day I got the divorce certificate, I was half cured. Later, when I found out what happened to you and Ethan, the other half healed instantly." A smile rippled across Anya's lips. She gave me a long, deep look. "Goodbye, Mark." "Yeah, goodbye." We turned and walked in different directions, never looking back. 3 years later, in the spring, Dad's checkup showed he was healthy. Business at the breakfast shop was still booming, and I remarried. My wife is Lily, the owner of the flower shop on the next street. She owns a flower nursery in the suburbs. On our wedding day, the venue was a sea of flowers. Before the vows, Lily was so nervous her palms were sweating, mumbling the lines she had written ages ago. I laughed at her cute clumsiness. A server brought over a gift box, saying a guest asked to pass it on. Lily praised it. "This is beautiful! Mark, do you want to swap this on?" I smiled and shook my head, looking tenderly at the jewelry on her ears. "No, I still think the pearl earrings I picked look better on you." She grinned. "Anything you pick looks good." Before going on stage, I glanced toward the exit. A thin figure flashed past and hid behind a pillar. I withdrew my gaze, took my wife's hand, and turned toward my future.